Okay, here we have our cloud shape, and we are going to add some typography. So to do that, we are going to, again, add a new layer in the bottom right. We're going to name this layer Typography. We're going to make sure that this layer is selected so that we can work within it. I'm going to go ahead and leave this cloud shape that we made with the shape builder visible. And we will grab a text box. So over here on the toolbar, the T is for type. There are lots of options here. Obviously, there is a drop-down menu, but we're just going to go with the generic type tool. And I'm going to write the cloud. Okay, now I'm using Helvetica Bold for the font because it is a clean font, a sans serif typeface, and I think it fits with just the overall feel of this design that I'm going for. Now, one thing that we need to know about working with fonts is that there is a default for the spacing in between letters, which is called kerning. We want to get off of the default because kerning is not done mathematically. All right, so meaning there doesn't have to be the same number of pixels between each shape. Kerning is done optically. And because of the shape of different letters, some letters will appear further away when they're paired next to each other. For example, two curved letters will appear further away because the curve pulls the shape of the letter away from the letter that it's next to. For example, if I had two L's here, to increase my text box for that, I have two L's here. If I match the amount of space mathematically as there is between the L and the O, visually from a distance, they look closer together. These look farther apart because of the space that's created up here and down here, when really they are mathematically the same distance apart. So, something to be aware of. So when we do our kerning, we want to put the cursor in between the letters that we want to adjust, and we hold down Alt and use the arrow keys to adjust the spacing. It is Option and the arrow keys on a Mac. And we want to get the kerning, in this case, I'm going to go tight but not touching. And I just move between until the letters match visually, until it looks right to me. Okay? Just play around with that until I like it. That looks pretty good to me. I want to change a little bit of the space here. And in fact, I'm going to just get rid of most of it and use the Alt or Option key to just increase that space subtly. Okay? Now, I have my kerning set. Okay? And I like that. I think it looks pretty good. So what I want to do here, once I have my kerning set, is I want to hit Control C or Command C to copy. I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer here. And I'm going to title this layer Outlines. Okay, and I'm going to paste this text into that layer. And I want to paste it right in this same spot. So I'm going to hit, make sure that my outlines layer is selected. And I'm going to hit Control Shift V. And it pasted it in there. Now, in the typography layer, I'm going to make it invisible because I don't need to work with it anymore. What I'm going to do now is click on this, and I'm going to create an outline and turn this from a editable typeface where I have a cursor and I can type new letters in. I'm going to change it to an image, really an outlined vector, by going Control or Command Shift O. Now, if I hit the direct selection tool here, notice I have all these anchor points. This is going to be important for customization later. But now I have this shape. I'm going to go ahead and move it up here so I can kind of see what I'm working with. I'm going to resize that. So it's already starting to look a little bit more professional to me. What I want to do is just to illustrate how you can customize fonts is I want to click to highlight my font, my word mark technically is what this is now, and I want to grab the direct selection tool that now gives me all of these anchor points. Now I can select an individual anchor point by clicking on it, and I can move this around, and I can technically change the shape of any part of my design here. Now I want to round the corners, just a couple of the corners of these shapes off to give it a custom feel. So I'm going to click on the corner here, and this little circle allows me to change this hard angle here, this hard angle to a curved segment. If I grab this little circle, I pull it, I can change that to a curved line segment. I'm just going to do that on each of these hard edges on the right of any of my squared off sections. What that does is it gives it a little bit more of a custom feel, so it doesn't just look like any other company that uses Helvetica. And I'm not saying this is exactly what I would do for this design, but I am saying that that is a very helpful tool or feature for customizing type. Okay, another thing that we can do, we could utilize if we wanted to, again, just if we wanted to, we could utilize our what we just learned about our shape builder to create a custom mark here. Center these two. We could select all of these, and we could use the shape builder tool over here on the left, and I could hold Alt to remove, and I could start cutting out pieces of this so that my custom design is just showing through my cloud shape. And again, maybe I would do this, maybe I wouldn't, but it's interesting to take a look at. Now I can already tell you I don't like kind of what it did to some of these, but it is an interesting option. Okay. So we've looked at a lot of different things here, but again, typography, one of the biggest things I want you to know is that you want to get off of the default kerning. Kerning again is the space in between letters, and you want to, if you can, think of some way to customize different elements of your type. Okay. We will have other tutorials that are a little more advanced for customizing type. This is just an introduction.